Starhawk, the spiritual successor to the 2007 title Warhawk, has arrived on PS3, featuring new vehicles, weapons, characters, a cool Firefly-esque space western setting, and tower defense. Set in the future, humanity has managed to harness the power of rift energy to travel between the stars. It's a powerful substance that can be cleverly used by humans, but if it's not used wisely, it can turn a person into a crazed mutant as well. Emmett is a merc who travels around helping rift miners defend their posts against the rift-addicted mutants.
And it's here that you'll be introduced to the various defense mechanics that you'll need to employ to protect you and your buddies against oncoming foes. By hitting triangle, you'll bring up a radial menu that allows you to build things like walls, turrets, sniper towers, supply bunkers, and fuel depots with vehicles. And some of these structures can be upgraded once they've been built. Say if you've built a wall and need to put a gate in it so that you can get out even if enemies can't get in.
Rift energy is the currency, and you can get it by destroying barrels or enemies themselves. They're so pumped full of the stuff you can just harvest it from them when they die.
And there's certainly a wonderful freedom brought to the world of the third-person shooter where you think, man, I could really use a sniper tower right now. Oh, wait.
I got the tug captain on the horn. I'm patching you in. We're only half loaded.
Oh, I'm out of ammo. I guess I'll just build a never-ending supply bunker.
The buildings all fall from the sky, which is fairly hilarious.
Yeah, it's such a satisfying thud when it lands, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's actually a buddy you've got up in an airship who apparently has access to a never-ending supply of walls and towers that he can send down from the heavens for you. But it's a suitably wacky concept that really fits in with the way they've incorporated these building elements into the game.
That said, certain campaign scenarios only unlock certain items, so it becomes more about where do I place what I've got, as opposed to thinking of interesting combinations of what I've got to achieve my objective, and I think I would have preferred it to be like that.
There's a pretty decent mix of guns here, although the actual gunplay is a little bit unsatisfying because I feel like none of the guns really had enough weight or heft to them, so often it feels like you're just pouring bullets into nothing. But things like locking onto an enemy aircraft with a missile launcher work well, and it's nice to have the reassuring banter of your sky buddy.
That's how you grab the scab.
Starhawk's tower defense missions and shooter sections are peppered with space battles from within your trusty Starhawk.
I found the transition into these sections was a little bit clunky. I feel as though I was just settling into how things work on land when suddenly Emmett's in space, flying between spaceports, taking out raiders, and then back on land building walls again.
They do make for a nice change, though, and it does prepare you for using those Starhawks in multiplayer, but yeah, a smoother transition would have been nice.
I just didn't enjoy those flying missions at all, which I know is 50% of what Starhawk is about, but I just found them just generally joyless and repetitive.
Yeah, I didn't like them either. Don't get me wrong, I love a transforming spaceship, and I like the space backdrops.
Never get tired of that.
But the controls were a bit floaty, and also, for a start, don't build a space station near an asteroid field. That just doesn't make sense. And secondly, if you're going to have a futuristic gun on a ship, it shouldn't overheat. Modern Gatling guns today don't overheat. It's madness. Space madness.
The story campaign isn't that long, but it's worth playing through as I guess the whole thing acts as a kind of tutorial for where the real fun is, the multiplayer. It's 32 a server with 5 maps to play through in your standard modes. Once you spawn in your zone, you have a few precious moments to build what you can before an enemy onslaught. And this is where the genre mashup really shines, I think, Barjo.
I agree. The action on its own isn't great, and the building isn't brilliant either, but put them together and you get a fresh spin on things, especially Capture the Flag, which I think is the most fun. Putting little turrets up to defend your flags, ripe for shenanigans.
My first few games were pretty soul-destroying, I have to say. I just feel like parts of it are a little unbalanced. I was so excited about fortifying my team's area with walls and turrets, eagerly anticipating their barrage of attacks on foot or by vehicle, but often the enemy would just spend all their points straight away building a Starhawk, which meant they could just fly in and blow the crap out of everyone. Yeah, all right. You jerk.
It does feel like the path to victory is building your own Hawk every time, so it does turn into a bit of a Hawk-off.
Didn't do much for me though. Spent the entire match just trying to get over there. Okay, here I come. Yeah, I'm coming. Be there in a second. I'm gonna get the... Oh, crap.
And once you get a Hawk in there too, there's quite a bit of camping, because you can take out a player just as they respawn, before they have a chance to get something to compete with. But player tactics tend to shift and change when you go into the other game modes and different maps, and after a while I was quite enjoying the power play struggle between the two sides.
Yeah, there's also some flying-only maps, which I have to say I enjoyed a lot more than the single-player missions. Taking players out with rockets and pulling off crafty evasive maneuvers is way more fun when playing with real people. There's also a co-op wave mode, which didn't do much for me, but it's a decent challenge.
I have to applaud the developer though for trying something new, and I think this would be quite popular online because you can get creative with your defensive strategies. It would have been nice to have some more vehicles though, but I had a pretty good time with this, Hex.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get into the story campaign at all really, but I had a surprising amount of fun in the multiplayer, so I'm giving it 6.5.
7.5 from me.